First pair out of the water box. Number 2 and number 9 qualifiers. These two match raced earlier this year at the Motion Raceway reunion. The Corvette pit side went under the index. That's why he's the number 9 qualifier. That is Steve Hoke alongside Mike Donald. Heads up, Pro Tree. First one of the finish line wins. Breakout rules apply. It is Hoke for the win, 657 on his 650. It's a whole shot win. As Donald was closer to the index, 654 on his 650. But the better light, an 016 light on the Pro Tree for Steve Hoke. 5 and 6 qualifiers, closest on the qualifying sheet. Coming at you right now. This is going to be Tony Dawson and Kim Niemeyer. Again, both of these drivers hoping to hit that magic 650 number. Dawson, the Chevelle out of Paris, Illinois. Niemeyer looks like he's going to try to Niemeyer out in front. Niemeyer for the win. 652 on the 650. He's your winner. Tony Dawson, a 10th off 660 at 106. Number 3 qualified, David Shum out of Philo, Illinois. That's the Corvette Tower side. We'll take on Max Lang, the 40 Willys Coupe, driven by the Hall of Famer out of Charleston. So Shum takes a dart to the right, just about gathers up the tree, gets it collected. Max Lang, though, for the win. How about an 8 thousandths packet? No, I'm sorry. If it was a 5/10ths tree, that'd be true. 650 with a 1. Dead on with a 1 for Max Lang. David Shum, 651 on the 650 at 103. Pro Cars, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Pro Cars, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chuck Burkhart, celebrating that 30th anniversary here today. He'd like to take home a win. He'll be taking on Doug Keene from Potomac, Illinois. The 84 Buick over there. Door handle to door handle at the stripe. It is Keene for the win, 653 at 104. He had the better light and runs closer to the index. Burkhart with a 654 at 104. Out of the water box, backing up into his own smoke there, that is Lee Hirschfield from Crete, Illinois. He is your number 1 qualifier. Ran dead on with a 3 in qualifying. He gets the bye run based on the ladder into the next round. And he improves. How about a 650 with a 2? Dead on with a 2 this time around at 106. Pro Cars, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So your number 2 and number 3 qualifiers will back up here. Pro Tree start. 4/10ths Pro Tree. Heads up. First one to the finish line wins. Number 3 qualified, Bill Roth, the Mopar Express out of Olney, Illinois. Going to push a little nitrous oxide in there into the Mopar power plant. Pete Dove over there does it the old-fashioned way, twisting the supercharger, your number 2 qualifier. Red light start for Pete Dove. Bill Roth with a 297 for Roth. He'll move into the final to take on Dana Coots. Pete Dove, red light start, 307 for the supercharged front motored car. So Billy Roth in the Mopar Express will come back to match up with Dana Coots in the final. Here's Dana Coots, Arcola, Illinois, number 1 qualifier with a 290. Trick chassis. Built this car. Judd Kaufman built the motor. And that car just flat works. They pick up another tick. 289. 289 for Dana Coots. So Dana Coots with that 289 will match up with Bill Roth in the final of the JT Muffler Quick 330. This will be the semifinal in the 7-flat index category. 3 cars will make the field. These two will run each other. Winner gets to come back for the final. Lloyd McVeigh qualified number 2. Jeff Young qualified number 3. Winner gets to take on Mark Probst in the final of 7-flat. This will be a 5/10 Pro Tree. And again, heads up, breakout rules apply. 7-flat, the number they're looking for. McVeigh in the Mopar, Jeff Young in the Nova. McVeigh gets the win as Young breaks out. He goes a 10th under 690 on his 7-flat. McVeigh with a 714. He'll move on to the final to take on Mark Probst. Probst out of T-Town in his 68 Camaro. Probst way under 666 at 102, doesn't matter. And round number 1 of Pro starts out like this. Larry Lyons, Travis East will match up here. Larry Lyons dialed in an 804. Travis East with an 820 dial. So East in the red Mustang gets the head start. Green light starts for both drivers. Larry Lyons had the light. East breaks out. He goes 1 under 819 on his 820. 806 for your winner, Larry Lyons at 74. Brandon Childress, Eddie Northcraft coming up now. Childress on the motorcycle. Northcraft in the Pontiac Ventura. All over at the start. Eddie Northcraft red light start. Childress will get the automatic round win. Brandon Childress, 740 at 100 miles an hour. 2 off his 738 dial. Northcraft runs 738 on his 740. Outlaw Muscle Street to lanes 3 and 4. 750 index to 7 and 8. 750 index, 7 and 8. Harold Wright and Bob Dillon. Dillon already red lights his chances away. Automatic win for Harold Wright. Big end of the track, Wright with an 801 on his 797 at 84. Bob Dillon red light starts 752 at 89. Here's April Isley and Jesse Brandt. This time around, AP goes red. Jesse Brandt for the win. For Jesse Brandt, 784 with a 1 on the 784. He's dead on with a 1. Isley, 3 off, 746 on her 743 at 90. This is Cassie Edwards-Wilson and Rob Fisher pulling up now. Cassie Edwards-Wilson, Tower Side from Charleston, 99 Camaro. Rob Fisher from Humboldt, Cedar City Motors Lane in the 66 Malibu wagon. That's not a 66, that's an 80 Malibu wagon. The $1 Million Malibu. He's trying to go 825. She's trying to go 840. Outlaw Muscle Street to 3 and 4. 750 Index to 7 and 8. Finish line, Wilson breaks out. Rob Fisher, your winner, 826 on the 825 at 80 miles an hour. Cassie goes 1 under 839 on her 840 at 82. Tony Lyons and Stuart Galloway coming up now. Lyons, the defending Division III sportsman champion from Ashcombe, Illinois. To go 792. His competition with a 741 dial. That's Stuart Galloway. Galloway with a lot of room to make up. Can he do it? No. Breaks out trying to catch him. 796 on the 792 for Tony Lyons. He's your winner. Galloway 5 under 736 at 93. Brad Talbert. Ron Veach coming up now. Talbert tower side in the primered Malibu. His dial in a 735. He'll be giving up 2-bulb head start to Ron Veach. 839 there on the windshield of the 63 Nova wagon. Outlaw Muscle Street 3 and 4. 750 Index 7 and 8. An 016 and 013 at the stripe. It is Talbert for the win on the double breakout. Talbert goes 4 under 731. Veach goes what he's been looking for all day, 826 on his 839 at 81. Cade Spires, 694 the dial in for the 66 Nova. That's that light blue-green car. Alongside Terry Willard. Willard and Jay Brown's Camaro trying to go 728. Here comes Spires trying to make up the difference. Willard down track. Double breakout win to Terry Willard. 727 with an 8 on the 728. He breaks out by 2 thou. Cade Spires breaks out by 5 as he goes 689 on the 694 at 97. So Corey Butler dialed in a 762. Mark Probst to 665. So Super Pro, you should all be lined up in 1 and 2. Outlaw Muscle Street to 3 and 4. 750 Index to 7 and 8. Red light start for Corey Butler. Butler 762 with a 2, dead on with a 2. Probst off pace 689 on the 665. 102 for the speed. Here's Kim Niemeyer and Clayton Patrick. Sportsman cars 7 and 8. Sportsman 7 and 8. Kim Niemeyer 656 to dial in. Clayton Patrick with a 780. Red light start for Patrick. Niemeyer gets the win. 657 on his 656. Clayton Patrick red light start and a 1 under 779 on the 780 at 86. Max Lang, 645 the dial in. Tom Harlan, 674 the dial. .004 light for Harlan. He'll be your winner, 676 on the 674. He's 2 off. Lang goes 1 off. 646 on the 645. Harlan with the .004 light. That's why he is your winner. Sportsman cars 7 and 8. Last call for Novice Street. Ralph Craig coming up alongside Chuck Burkhart. 667 the dial for Craig. Burkhart with a 654. Virtually identical off the starting line. Ralph Craig for the win as Burkhart breaks out. He goes 5 under 649 on his 654. Ralph Craig 669 for the win at 100 miles per hour. Super Pro starts out like this. Randy Protz and Ron Zinn. Hey, Stuart Galloway, you are needed to lane 3. Stuart Galloway, please report to lane 3. We need you now. Randy Protz, Vandalia, Illinois, 613 the dial in on the Vega wagon, taking on Ron Zinn. And it's all over at the start. Papa Zinn for the red light. Randy Protz on the win. Protz goes 612 on his 613 at 111, but he's your winner. 733 pit side at 93. Here's Dale Short and Bobby Paul coming up now. So Sportsman cars 7 and 8. 750 index cars, you should all be lined up in 5 and 6. Dale Short trying to go 550. Bobby Paul 748. Here comes Dale Short, charging hard to try to catch Bobby Paul. Big end of the track. It is Dale Short for the win. 552 on the 550 at 125. Bobby Paul won off 749 on the 748, but uncharacteristically late for the King Rat. Tom Jamison and Eric Rayburn. Jamison will back up from his burnout. The Wild Thing Racing Camaro. Jamison with a 569 dial in. He'll give up the head start to Eric Rayburn in the Slows Mobile out of Champaign, Illinois. 686 the dial in over there pit side.
Happy. How many novice cars do you have? Okay. That Mustang, the car 144, make sure he has lane choice. You have 6.
Here comes Jamison trying to catch Rayburn. He'll get it done. 569 with a 6, dead on with a 6. Rayburn goes 686 with a 3, dead on with a 3. But the better light to Tom Jamison. Joel Leisher and Brandy Protz coming up now. Leisher out of Decatur, Illinois. Trying to go 720. I don't think that car's done it once today. Brandy Protz with a 706 dial. She's in the big Chevelle wagon, pit side out of Vandalia. Brandy Protz with a perfect light. The young lady gets that done and runs dead on with a 2. A 2000s package for Brandy Protz. She goes dead on with a 2 and a perfect light. She'll frame that time ticket. Leisher breaks out 719 on the 720 at 94. So she goes perfect on the tree, dead on with a 2. Chad Isley and Brandon Carell here in Super Pro Automobile, a pair of bikes. Side by side, Isley from Charleston, 6 flat the dial. He's in the Tower Lane. Brandon Carell up on his Suzuki. He's trying to go 575. Isley looking around, eases off the throttle, 603 on the 6 flat. Chad Isley takes the win. Carell 7 off 582 at 118. So the high wind and small block pit side, the little white Vega of Steve Bouldery. He's from Willow Hill, Illinois. 657 is his prediction. He'll be taking on the 569 dial to Walt Edwards. Sponsored by Cedar City Motors, the Black Magic Dragster. There goes the Vega. Here comes the dragster. Edwards had the light by just a touch. Boulder breaks out, goes one under. 656 on the 657. Edwards safe by 2, 571 on the 569. And he had the better light. Edwards moves on to round 2. Here's Eddie Northcraft and Donnie Davis coming up now. Eddie, tower side. That is a 75 Pontiac Ventura. Donnie Davis, dyno over there pit side in the 68 Nova. 645 the dial in for Davis. Eddie Northcraft with a 736. Davis an hour and a half late at the starting line. Northcraft takes the win, 738 on the 736 at 86. Donnie Davis breaks out 639 on the 645 at 107. Here's Brad Talbert and Terry Willard. Talbert out of Mattoon, Willard out of Mattoon. Talbert in the black primered car, Willard in the white Camaro. 730 and 728 the dial-ins. Too close to see on the tree. But Willard sees his red light come on. He leaves a little too quick. He'll save the equipment. Brad Talbert out the back door to a 732 at 93. Willard clicks it off early, 10:25. That's Troy Salazar backing up the dragster over there, the Bad Dog Racing entry out of Shelbyville, Illinois. He'll be taking on Tommy Harlan, the hitman. Here is Tom Harlan, tower side. Racer out of Mattoon, Illinois, two-time defending pro champion. 674 the dial in. Gets to go first. Troy Salazar with a 554 dial in. Be chasing him down. And the red eye there for Salazar. He goes 009 red. Tom Harlan gets the automatic win, 673 on the 674. So your first pair in Nava Street. This is Sam Zahn out of Champaign, Illinois. 2002 Chevy Avalanche. Alongside Jim Treat. Treat from Dietrich, Illinois. The green pickup gets the head start by just a little bit, 11:45 to the 11:13 for the Avalanche. And it's a red light there for Jim Treat. Sam Zahn gets the automatic round win. He'll go on to round 2. Sam Zahn with an 11:11 on the 11:13 at 64. Treat off pace 11:64 on the 11:45 at 57. Your next pair, Tony Chrysages from Arcola, Illinois. Taking on Jason Carrington from Dietrich. Chrysages with an 11:41 dial in. Carrington 10:70 as they head down track. The convertible alongside the big pickup truck. Chrysages tags the brakes and takes the win. He had a ton in the bank from the starting line. 11:47 on the 11:41 for your winner. Tony Chrysages, he's 6 off. Carrington only goes 5 off. 10:75 on the 10:70 at 66. This is the quarterfinals, as there are 6 cars in the index category, 750 index category. And this is an elimination category. So, laddered running. They've already been paired up based on their qualification. And they'll follow that ladder all the way to the final round. They're trying to run on that 750 index. They'll get the 5/10 Pro Tree. Heads up. We'll start out with John Bruder, the white Corvette, tower side, JT Muffler Lane out of Decatur, Illinois. He'll pair up along with your number 1 qualifier, Rob Nevius. Nevius went 7:51 to qualify number 1. The McLean, Illinois runner. He has the starting line advantage. You could see it when they left. Bruder breaks out. He goes a 10th under, 740 on the 750. Nevius dead on 750 with a 7 to advance to round 2, the semifinals. Here's Kevin Hunt, Mikey Robinson. Your 3 and 4 qualifiers. Hunt from Decatur, Illinois. That's the blue Dodge Dart. Mikey Robinson, the red Mustang. Final call for Sportsman. Final call for Sportsman. Robinson and Hunt. Red car, blue car, Mopar Ford. It's the Ford for the win. 751 on the 750 for Mikey Robinson. Kevin Hunt also goes 751 on his 750. The better light for Mr. Mikey Robinson. So Bob Dillon, the number 2 qualifier, will take on Tony Cook, number 5. Pair of classic hot rods coming up now. The 46 Ford Coupe. Tower side out of Dalton City. Tony Cook in the 66 Nova pit side. Cook deep stage. Cook goes 002 on the tree. At the finish line, Cook for the win. 762 on the 750. He is your winner. Had the better light. Bob Dillon closer on the index, 759 on the 750. But gives up too much on the starting line to Tony Cook. Tony moves on to the semis. All right, this next category is called Outlaw Muscle Car. Pretty simple concept. These cars are supposed to be street legal. Supposed to be. They're going to get the pro tree. Heads up to the finish line. First one there is your winner.
Run.
3 cars in the category right now.
Mikey Robinson and Tony Cook.
Out of the water box right now, Stuart Galloway from Milford, Illinois in the Monte Carlo. He'll be taking on Doug Keene from Potomac.
Nevius.
Galloway's Monte Carlo, Nevius in the Buick Regal. Keene pit side. They'll stage it up, pro tree, heads up to the finish line. I think I know how this is going to turn out. Doug Keene for the win, 651 at 108. Stuart Galloway, 737 at 93. So Doug Keene will advance to take on Steve Hoke in the final.
Bar, I'm not happy.
Steve Hoke in the Corvette, 639 at 109. So it'll be Steve Hoke and Doug Keene in the final. Here's Larry Lyons and Terry Adams coming up now. This will start out Sportsman round 1. Larry Lyons from Onarga, Illinois, 802 the dial in. Chasing down Terry Adams, his 870 there on the Firebird. So once again, $650 index cars to 5 and 6. Terry Adams for the win, 871 on the 870. He's one off. Larry Lyons goes over a 10th off, 813 on the 802 at 74. Lyons had a bunch of room in the bank off the starting line, but can't make it stick. Kyle Wright, 95 Camaro. Jerry Decker in the black 84 Camaro. 884 the dial in for Wright, tower side. Jerry Decker with a 908 dial, pit side. 650 index cars to 5 and 6. JT Muffler quick 330 to 3 and 4. 7 flat index final to 1 and 2. Red light start for Jerry Decker. Automatic win for Kyle Wright. 881 on his 884. Just a time pass for him. Jerry Decker off pace 926 on the 908 at 71. Here's Ron Veach Sr. and Jerry Decker Jr. Ron Sr., Tower Side in his Pontiac Solstice. He's got an 857 written there on the window. He'll be taking on the 888 dial for Jerry Jr., pit side. So, Ron Sr. for the win, 867 on the 857. He had an 014 light. Jerry Decker Jr., 896 on his 888. They both run about the same amount off. Better light for Ron Sr. Tony Lyons and Robert Soper coming up now. Lyons, he'll be trying to go 787. He's going to have to sit there almost 7 full seconds waiting on Robert Soper. Soper with a 1451 dial. Soper down track. Here comes Lyons. Gathering him up at the big end. It is Lyons for the win as Soper breaks out. He goes 5 under 1446 on the 1451. Soper had the light. Lyons 2 off. 789 on his 787. He'll be your winner. Alex Smith. Tower Side alongside Mitch Biley. Smith from Humboldt, Illinois. 2010 Camaro. That's the blue car. I believe that's blue with rally stripes on it. Mitch Biley in the black Sonata. Pit side, 1001 the number over there. He'll get about a second and a half head start over Alex Smith. Smith trying to go 866. And Smith goes red. Biley gets to go on to round 2. Biley with a 1004 on the 1001. He's your winner. Alex Smith, red light start, 871 at 82. KDB over here, Tower Side. Katie Beeson out of Charleston, alongside Kelly Edwards, also out of Charleston. KDB and her new Camaro. That's a 2012 or 13, I'm not sure. New body style, 887. Kelly Edwards in the 2000 Camaro, 859. The dial in. 650 index cars. We need you now for round 2. 650 cars. We need you now.
You got Max and Neymar sitting in front of you. There's 2 of them.
Finish line says it's Kelly Edwards on the double breakout. She goes 3 under 856 on the 859. Katie goes 4 under 883 on the 887. So the closer breakout to Kelly Edwards. Here's Cassie Edwards Wilson. Charleston, Illinois, 839 her dial in. She'll be chasing down Tom Wagner. Wagner in the Lincoln MKX over there pit side. He's trying to go 1058. Lee Hirschfield and Doug Keene, please report to the staging lanes. Cassie chasing down Tom. At the 660, it is Cassie for the win. 842 on her 839 at 77. She takes out Tom Wagner's 3 off 1061 on the 1058. So Cassie in the Camaro moves on to round 2. Clayton Patrick and Rob Fisher coming up now. Patrick with a 779 dial in. Rob Fisher with an 825. So the $1 Million Malibu gets to go first. That's the brown car. And the white Camaro will be chasing him down. 7 flat final already lined up. We need 650 index cars to 5 and 6. 650 index cars to 5 and 6. We need you now. Off they go at the stripe. It is Fisher for the win. A touch better at the light. Runs the number dead on with a 6. 825 with a 6. Clayton Patrick, though, he runs dead on with a 2. 779 with a 2 on the 779. So the light is the margin of victory, and it goes to the Rain Man. Ron Veach and James Treat coming up now. Veach 825 now on the window. For James Treat, 948 there on the Mustang. Treat down track. Here comes the little white wagon. At the big end, it is Veach for the win. 840 on his 825 at 74. He's 15 off, but so is James Treat. 963 on the 948 at 73. Sam Zahn, Scott Pickens coming up now. Zahn, Tower Side out of Champaign. That is a 2002 Chevy Avalanche pickup truck. Scott Pickens in the Monte Carlo from Marshall. He's trying to go 8:18, gives up the 2-second head start, 3-second head start to Sam Zahn. 11:10 the dial in, Tower Side. Zahn off and running. Here comes Pickens. Pickens misses the shift again. 11:13 on the 11:10 at 64. For Scott Pickens, way off pace. 8:47 at 72. All right, we need pro buybacks to lanes 7 and 8. Pro buybacks to 7 and 8. Pro winners to 5 and 6. Ralph Craig, you still have the buy. Pro buybacks 7 and 8. Pro winners 5 and 6. $598 for Eric Cooper. $598 at 111. So Index Racing returns to the ready line. This is going to be the 650 Index. There should be 5 cars left in the category. So this is the quarterfinal round. And it looks like Steve Hoke gets the bye. Hoke fully capable of running way under the index. The sponsor here tonight, Hoke Garage, the sponsor of the 650 category. He keeps running under the index. That's his problem. Pro Tree, off he goes. 645, still under the index at 109. Here's Max Lang and Doug Keene coming at you now. Lang in the field at number 8. Keene at number 4. Both of them trying to get as close to that 650 as they can. 4/10 Pro Tree. Keene a touch better at the start. At the stripe, it is Keene for the win on the double breakout. He goes 1 under 649. Max Lang's 4 under 646. Lee Hirschfield, the number 1 qualifier, gets to match up now with Kim Niemeyer. Niemeyer's 67 Mustang pit side. Hirschfield in the Malibu Tower side. Big zigzag there for Niemeyer. Hirschfield goes straight and true to a 657 at 94. He's your winner. Niemeyer off pace just a little bit, 658 at 103. So the burnout's complete now for your two competitors that'll make up the JT Muffler Quick 330 Final. JT Muffler Lane, Tower Side. It's Bill Roth, the Roth Brothers Mopar Express. Similar setup for both racers. Tower Side, it's Mopar power behind the driver with a little nitrous assist. You see him purging the nitrous there. Make sure there's nothing in there that can mess up his injection system. Pit side, similar concept. Ford power plant built by Judd Kaufman, also with nitrous. About 3 seconds from now, it'll all be over there at the 3:30 mark between Billy Roth and Dana Coots. Coots carries the front wheels. Coots, your winner, 289. 289, very consistent all night long for Dana Coots. 289 for the win for Coots. Bill Roth off pace 305. So congratulations to Dana Coots, your winner in the JT Muffler Quick 330 tonight. Seven flat index final will match up Lloyd McVeigh. The Plymouth Savoy, Tower Side, that's the silver car. The runner out of 5th in Illinois. Be taking on Mark Probst, the Probst Auto Body Camaro. 5/10 Pro Tree, and off they go. Probst on and off the throttle. Probst will get the win. 709 on his 7 flat. Mark Probst, your winner. Lloyd McVeigh, runner-up, 712 at 96. McVeigh had the better light by just a little bit, but Mark Probst runs closer to the number, and he'll pick up the win sticker here tonight in 7 flat index racing. Your first pair here in round 2 of Pro. Ron Veach, Charleston, Illinois, 825 to dial in. Taking on Travis East, the Beast, pit side from Casey. 819 the dial in over there on the pit side. 600th head start there for the white wagon. Veach has the light. Big end of the track. East for the win, 820. On the 819. He's 1 off. Veach goes 4 off. 829 on his 825. April Isley and Stuart Galloway coming up now. AP Tower Side. She's in a 95 Cavalier. She's part of those Eastern Illinois rat racers. She's trying to go 747. Cedar City Motor side of the track. Stuart Galloway from Milford with a 733 dial in. So the purple car gets to go first. AP down track. Here comes Galloway trying to make up the difference. No. Isley, 747 with an 8 on her 747. Dead on with an 8. Galloway 6 off, 739 on the 733. Here's Cassie Edwards-Wilson. Lines up alongside Bob Dillon. Cassie, JT Muffler Lane, Tower Side. She's trying to go 839. She gets to go first. Bob Dillon in that classic 46 Ford Coupe. He's trying to go 751. Nava Street, lane 9. Pretty close off the starting line. Cassie Edwards-Wilson breaks out. She goes 1 under 838 on her 839. Bob Dillon safe with that 753. He is your winner. Bob Dillon advances to round 3. Cade Spires and Eddie Northcraft coming up now. Spires 66 Nova Tower side. Northcraft already goes red. And for Cade Spires, a little backfire there. Checking to see if there's any fire under the hood. And it looks like there is just a little bit of fire under the hood. I guess they're getting it put out. Yes, he wins. He takes the green, even though he never left the starting line. Took the green. So red light start for Eddie Northcraft. 2 off 738 on the 736. Cade Spires never left the starting line. The backfire, he's still sitting there in the stage beams. However, since he did take the green light, he does get the automatic win. Spires will get it figured out before the next round. Coming up now, here's Clayton Patrick, JT Muffler Lane, 97 Camaro, trying to go 779. His competition, 649, the dial in for Chuck Burkhart. Burkhart with the red light start. Clayton Patrick takes the win. Patrick on the double breakout, 3 under 776 on the 779. Burkhart, red light start, 634 at 108. Here's Max Lang and Corey Butler. Lang, 645 there on the Willies. For Corey Butler, numbers matching car this time. All three dial-ins match, 764. Last time we just got to pick one. Corey Butler breaks out. 760 on the 764. He took the stripe, broke out by 4. Max Lang dead on 645 on the 645. Larry Lyons and Jesse Brandt coming up now.
We had 18 in the first round. We had 18 card runs. Tommy Harlan.
Finish line, it's Jesse Brandt on the double breakout win. He's 3 under 781 on the 784. Larry Lyons 5 under 797 on the 802. He breaks out by more. Jesse Brandt closer on the breakout. He'll take the win. Brandon Childress up on the motorcycle tower side. That is a Honda. The Altamont rider thinks he's going to go 738. His competition from Mattoon, Illinois. That is the hitman, Tommy Harlan. 673 the dial in on his 77. So Harlan already around the motorcycle. That's a bad sign. Harlan 679 on the 673. He's your winner. Childress slightly closer on the dial in as he goes 4 off 742 on his 738, but more than 2/10 late off the tree. Tony Lyons and Rob Fisher coming up next. Pair of heavy hitters in the category. Lyons defending Division III champ. The Rain Man, multi-time winner pit side. 787 and 825 are your dial-ins. And the red light for Tony Lyons. Fisher gets the automatic round win, goes on to round 3. Fisher 824 on his 825. He's your winner. 788 and the red light start for Tony Lyons. This is Harold Wright and Terry Willard. Harold Wright in a pickup truck, 8 flat on his dial-in board. Willard trying to go 726. Willard's got the light. Can he make it stick? Big N says it is Willard for the win. 731 on his 726. Terry Willard in the Camaro. Moves on to round 3. Harold Wright, 803 at 83. Kim Niemeyer and Brad Talbert coming up. Niemeyer moves over to the 97 Mustang. The Humboldt Racer trying to go 657. For Brad Talbert, his home base Mattoon, his dial-in is 733. Head start for the primered car. Too close to call off the starting line. Finish line, Talbert on the double breakout. He goes 1 under 732 on the 733. Actually, he breaks out by 2 thousandths. Kim Niemeyer breaks out by 4 thousandths as he goes 656.6 on his 657. Sportsman buybacks only. Sportsman buybacks only to lanes 7 and 8. And the red light for Ralph Craig. Mark Probst gets the win. Probst 659 on his 665. He breaks out. Doesn't matter. Just a time pass for Ralph Craig. 669 on 668. But the red light gets him. Here's Super Pro round 2. And a friendly reminder, competitors, our lights are on. Your lights need to be on as well. It's time to turn on that working tail light. You got to have a working tail light on your race ride before you head down track. Our lights are on. Your lights need to be on as well. Joel Leisher out of Decatur. He's trying to go 719. He's in the tower lane. His competition from Shelbyville. 732 the dial in for Ron Zinn. Clean and green for both of them. Leisher for the win. Zinn takes the stripe, breaks out by 1. He's 1 under 731 on the 732. Leisher So for Brandon Carell,
EMT.
Wild Ride. EMT, report to the starting line. EMT to the starting line immediately. EMT to the starting line.
Safety, come down the track.
Safety to the starting line. EMT to the starting line.
Track is shut down.
Please clear out of the way for the ambulance. Please clear out of the way for the ambulance. Ambulance to the starting line.
Back the white car out.
Steve Boldry, please back up. Steve Boldry, please back up. Ambulance to the starting line.
Hey, Greg.
So we are back to action here. It's good to know everything good for Brandon Carell, but a scary situation, and no doubt. Bobby Paul, 008 on the tree, 746 with a 9 on the 747. Just a time pass for him, as it turns out. Coming up now, this is Donnie Davis. Dyno over here, tower side out of Charleston, Illinois. 638 is his dial-in. He'll be taking on Troy Salazar. Salazar in the Bad Dog Racing Dragster. Salazar with a 553 dial. Salazar goes red, 499 red. Donnie Davis for the win, 649 on the 638 at 106. Salazar red light start, 552 at 124. Sportsman winners to 5 and 6. Sportsman buybacks 7 and 8. Here is Eric Rayburn alongside Steve Boldry. Rayburn in the slows mobile. 685 is his dial-in. Steve Boldry from Willow Hill, Illinois, the high wind in Vega. 654 the dial-in over there pit side. So Rayburn is clean and green. Boldry, though, goes red, way red. Rayburn 685 on his 685, good enough for the win. Boldry 5 off 659 and the red light start. Here's Dale Short, Chad Isley. Short from Shelbyville, Illinois. The Little Vega will be hustling to make a 551 pass. 601 the dial in for Chad Isley. Exactly one bulb head start. Water box photography to the winner's circle. Water box photography to the winner's circle. At the stripe, it's Isley for the win, 605 on the 601. Dale Short, 553 on his 551, but he was dead late. A tenth of a second better for Chad Isley. Randy Protz and Eddie Northcraft coming up now. Protz, the Little Vega wagon. Tower side from Vandalia. A 610 there dialed in on the window. For Eddie Northcraft, 738. The dial in for the white Pontiac Ventura. And the red light there for Randy Protz. Car hooks a little bit to the right. He gathers it up, clicks it off. Eddie Northcraft 764 on the 738 at 75. Tom Jameson, the quick door slammer over here tower side. His Lexan window has a 569 on it. The racer out of Urbana, Illinois will be taking on the hitman, Tommy Harlan. He's in a 77 Camaro. He's trying to go 673. Just a touch over 2 bulbs head start. Pit side for the brown car. Sportsman, you should all be in the lanes. Sportsman, all to the lanes. Harlan down track. Here comes Jameson. Finish line says it's Jameson for the win. 571 on the 569 at 119. Harlan 5 off 678 on the 673 at 99. Dragster door slammer matchup. A classic confrontation between Walt Edwards, the Black Magic Dragster, taking on Brad Talbert. Talbert in the 81 Malibu. Talbert with a 732 dial-in. He gets to go first. Walt Edwards in the Dragster, 569 there on the scoop. Talbert already goes red. Edwards will move on. Walt Edwards with a 574 for Edwards at 118. Brad Talbert 733 at 93. Coming up now, this is Terry Willard. Willard will take on Brandy Michelle Protz, pit side. So Brandy Protz had virtually a perfect time ticket last time. Perfect light, dead on with a 2. She's trying to go 7 flat. For Terry Willard, 726 the dial in there on the Camaro. She's got that tree figured out. She goes 008 this time, but she can't run the number. Willard's dead on. 726 with an 8 on the 726. She went 008 on the tree, but 5 off 705 at 96. So Sam's on. Jason Carrington here in novice round 2. Sam's on with an 1110 dial in. Jason Carrington 1070 the dial in for the Mustang. And the red lights start there for Sam's on.
Repeat that. Run him after sportsman then. But remind me.
1134 on the 1070 for Carrington, but he'll get the win as Sam's on goes red. 1111 on the 1110, which would have been closer, but he left too early. Coming up now, little cold over here alongside James Treat. Pretty much identical lights, and that's nothing to brag about. The Cobalt takes the win, 1150 on the 1139 at 62. 967 pit side for Treat at 71. Tony Corsages gets the bye run going into the next round. At the finish line, Corsages with an 1149 on the 1141 at 63. 750 index coming at you now. Semi-final action. 3 cars left in the category. $750 index, the number 5 and number 4 qualifiers matching up here in the semis. Mikey Robinson and Tony Cook. Cook Tower Side, the white Nova. Mikey Robinson, the red Mustang. Heads up, off they go. Ford or Chevy, Chevy or Ford at the stripe. It is the Ford of Mikey Robinson. Moving on to the final. 757 on a 750. Taking out the 754 for Tony Cook. Had the better light for Mikey Robinson. So Robinson gets to take on Rob Nevius here in the final of 750 index. Nevius has been running 750s and 751s all night. And this time around, it's a 749. Breaks out by just a touch, but he'll be back for the final in 750. Here's Katie Beeson and Robert Soper coming up now to start out Sportsman round 2. Katie B with an 886 dial in. Bobby Soper with a 1445. Bob down track. Here comes Katie B. Charging hard in her Camaro. Katie B for the win. 899 at 73. For Robert Soper, 1462 at 51. Tom Wagner alongside Jerry Decker Jr. And at the finish line, it's Tom Wagner for the win. 1066 on the 1061 for Wagner. Decker off pace 895 on the 888 at 75. Here's Clayton Patrick coming up now. 650 index semis to 5 and 6. 650 index semifinalists. We need you now to 5 and 6. Clayton Patrick with a 777 dial in. Jerry Decker 908. For you folks on Ustream at home, sorry we were out of service there for about 10 minutes, but we are back now. Red light start for Jerry Decker. Decker goes 006 red. Patrick was 009 green. Patrick with a 777. That's a 12 thousandths package for Clayton Patrick. Jerry Decker 924 off pace on his 908 at a speed of 73. 650 index semifinals to lanes 5 and 6. Scott Pickens and Alex Smith coming up. Pickens down track alongside Alex Smith. Finish line, it's Pickens for the win. 824 on his 820. Smith breaks out by 3, 866. 3 under on his 869 at 82. Larry Lyons and James Treat coming up now. Lyons, 8 flat. The dial in, James Treat, 955. We need pro buybacks to lane 7 and 8. Pro buybacks to lane 7 and 8. So Larry Lyons drives right past him. He's your winner. 812 on the 8 flat at 71. James Treat 2 seconds off, 1109 on the 955 at 48 miles per hour. Tony Lyons with a 786 dial in. He's in the JT Muffler lane, taking on Kelly Edwards. And Kelly with the red light start. Tony Lyons gets to move on to the next round. Kelly went 002 red. Tony Lyons 784 at 87. Kelly Edwards 861 at 81. Kyle Wright, Terry Adams coming up now. Kyle Wright, the white Camaro Tower side, 881 there on the T-tops. 871 on the T-tops for Terry Adams. Terry goes red. Kyle Wright gets the automatic win, moving on to round 3. So for Kyle Wright, 877 on his 881. He'll have it dialed in for the next round. Terry Adams also going 877 at 78. Here's Cassie Edwards Wilson and Rob Fisher. Pro winners to 5 and 6. Pro winners to 5 and 6. Pro buybacks 7 and 8. Cassie Edwards Wilson, 838 the dial in. Taking on Rob Fisher, dialed in an 824 in the $1 Million Malibu. Super Pro winners to 1 and 2. Super Pro buybacks to 3 and 4. Bobby Paul, you have the buy run in the next round. Finish line, it is Fisher for the win, 825 on the 824. Cassie breaks out. She goes 837 at 84. Ron Veach Sr., Mitch Biley coming up now. Ron Sr. in the Pontiac Solstice. His magic number an 862 for Mitch Biley, 1003 the dial in. And for Ron Sr., it's a red light. Biley gets to move on to round 3. Mitch Biley for the automatic win. 10:09 on the 10:03 for Mitch Biley in the Hyundai Sonata. For Ron Beach, red light start, throwing away a dead on 862 with a 1. Sam Zahn, Ron Beach coming up now. Zahn in the Chevy Avalanche. 11:10 is his dial in. He'll get the head start. Ron Beach trying to go 8:27 over there in the little Nova wagon. So we do observe courtesy staging here at Coles County, which means that both racers need to pre-stage before either one of them stages. So Zahn backs out.
Yes, please, because I don't want to switch the tree too often. Because the other guy wants a 4/10, doesn't he?
Ron Beach down track.
Copy that, yeah.
8:38 on the 8:27 at 72 for Sam Zahn. Dead on 11:10 on the 11:10 at 64, but Veach picks up the round win. So the bike makes a move towards the tree, and he wisely clicks it off, and he'll coast on through to an 8:55. So I believe this is David Shum. So he's off the throttle. So here's Doug Keene running on the 650 index. Pro Tree. He'll be back for the final. Runner out of Potomac, Illinois. $6:45 at 108 for Doug Keene. So who will Doug Keene match up with? It'll either be Lee Hirschfield, the number 1 qualifier, or Steve Hoke, the number 9 qualifier. Red light start for your number 1 qualifier, Lee Hirschfield. Steve Hoke, out of the number 9 qualifying spot, moves on to the final. Hoke 6:57 at 108. Hirschfield red lights his chances away, 6:50 with a 7, dead on with a 7 at 105, but all for naught, as it'll be Steve Hoke, Doug Keene in the final. Round 3 in pro starts out like this. Ralph Craig, the 76 Firebird, fresh green paint this year. 668 is his dial-in, taking on Kim Niemeyer. The runner out of Humboldt, Illinois. Cedar City Motor side of the track with a 656 dial-in there on the white car. Ralph Craig forgot to leave. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Dead late. 667 on his 668, doesn't matter. Kim Niemeyer, 665 on the 656. You'll just have to watch the replay to see what kind of light that was. Brandon Childress pulls up now on his Honda. Tower side, 736. His dial-in, taking on Eddie Northcraft. Sullivan, Illinois, the home base. Again, courtesy staging in force here at Coles County. Childress had the better light. He'll be your winner. 742 on the 736 at 99 miles an hour. For Eddie Northcraft, a 10th off 747 on his 738 at 81. So Brandon Childress will be back for round 4 competition. One of these two will as well. It'll be either Harold Wright or Ron Veach. Wright from Ashmore, the S10 pickup truck tower side. 803 there on his dial-in board. He'll be chasing down Ron Veach. About a half a bulb head start for the white wagon pit side. Veach in trouble. Harold Wright for the win. 805 on the 803 at 79. Veach runs the number dead on with a 4. The better light for the pickup truck was enough to give him some room at the big end. So Harold Wright goes on to round 4 action. Stuart Galloway and Corey Butler. Galloway from Milford, Illinois in his Monte Carlo. Corey Butler from Bement in his Mustang. So Galloway, passenger side door was open there. Our chief starter takes care of that. Corey Butler, way down track, on his brakes already. He'll take the win. 767 on the 759. How much better was he at the starting line? Galloway goes dead on and still loses. 736 on the 736. Larry Lyons and Cassie Edwards Wilson coming up now. Larry Lyons in the Penny Arcade Falcon, 797 the dial-in. For Cassie Edwards Wilson, she's trying to go 837. Yeah, are you? Ford Chevy matchup as they head down track. But it's Cassie taking the win. 838 on her 837. She's your winner. For Larry Lyons, 4 off 801 on the 797 at 83. Clayton Patrick pulls up now alongside Bob Dillon. Another Ford Chevy matchup. Patrick in the Chevy, that's a Camaro tower side. 777 is lucky number. Taking on Bob Dillon, trying to go 751 pit side there in the 46 Ford Coupe. Almost dead even off the starting line. At the stripe, it is Dillon for the win as Patrick takes the stripe and he breaks out by 1. 776 on the 777, that's 1 under. Bob Dillon, 752, moves him on to round 4. Travis East, Brad Talbert coming up now. Talbert with a 733 dial in, that's the tower lane. Travis East pit side, running his favorite lane. 818, the number over there. Travis East for the win, 818 at 82. Talbot breaks out by 1, 732 on the 733. East puts together the better package and takes the win. 750 index final to 7 and 8. No, I'm sorry. 750 index final to 5 and 6. 750 index final to 5 and 6. Tom Harlan, he'll be your winner. 674 on the 673. Harlan for the win. Taking out Mark Probst here. Probst 661 on his 658. Sportsman buybacks to 7 and 8. Sportsman buybacks 7 and 8. Here's Jesse Brandt and Rob Fisher. Fisher out of Humboldt, Illinois with an 824 dial in. He'll go first. Jesse Brandt, 782 the number. The Olds Cutlass will be playing catch up. So Jesse Brandt had the better light, but Fisher runs the number dead on. 824 with a 2. Takes out Brandt's 3 off 825, or 785 on his 782, excuse me. So Cade Spires and Max Lang. Spires with a little trouble earlier tonight. A little backfire up into the hood. And a red light for Spires this time around. Max Lang moves on to the next round. 644 with a 1. Max Lang goes dead on with a 1. 644 with a 1 at 105. Cade Spires, red light starts 689 at 97. 750 index final to 5 and 6. Sportsman buybacks to 7 and 8. April Isley and Tony Lyons coming up now. Isley out of Charleston, Illinois. AP trying to go 743 for Tony Lyons. 784 the dial in. Identical off the tree. Lyons for the win. 791 on the 784. He's 7 off. April Isley 760 and done at 88. Terry Willard gets the bye run into the next round. Still got that 724 on there. Sportsman winners to 5 and 6. Sportsman winners to 5 and 6. Clayton Patrick, you will have the bye run. Sportsman winners 5 and 6. Clayton Patrick, you will have the bye. For Terry Willard, it's a 726 on the 724 at 91. Here's Tyler Finney and Tony Crusages as we start out Novice Street. Finney off and running on his 1142. Crusages on the 1144. Too close to see there on the tree. But it's Crusages for the win. 1147 on the 1144. Finney breaks out, goes 1141 with a 9 on the 1142. Breaks out by 1/1000th of a second. Here's James Treat, Jason Carrington coming up now. Mustangs side by side. Both of these racers from Dietrich, Illinois. Treat, the black Mustang Tower side, 955 the dial in. For Jason Carrington, 1070 the number over there in the pit lane. So James Treat pulling the gears there. I didn't realize that. James Treat with a 988 on the 955. Treat is the winner. Jason Carrington 1101 on the 1070 at 65. First up, one of these guys is going to go on. The other one's going back to Shelbyville. Dale Short, Ron Zinn. The little red Chevy Vega over here, tower side, that's Dale Short. 552 is his dial in. The silver and black Mustang, that's Ron Zinn. He's trying to go 731. Dale Short on a good pass. Can he catch him? He does. Double breakout win for Dale Short. 551 with a 6 on the 552. He's your winner. Ron Zinn 2 under 729 on the 731. Coming up now, Brad Talbert. Talbert in the door slammer, tower side from Mattoon. 730 is his dial in. Taking on Troy Salazar, the dragster, with a 552. So Talbert goes 499 with a 9 red. Salazar, your winner, 555 on the 552 at 124. Talbot red light starts 729 at 93. Your next pair, this is going to be Tom Harlan, the hitman. He'll be hanging them high, taking on Brandy Protz. Brandy Michelle finally finding a little consistency there in the big wagon. 704 her dial in for Tom Harlan is 673. Wheels up for Harlan. Brandy's got the light though. Can she make it stick at the big end? No. She's off pace. 715 on the 704. For Tommy Harlan, he's your winner. 4 off 677 on the 673 at 96. So Brandy all 3 rounds has had the better light. But in round 3 when it counts, no win light for her. Joel Leisher and Donnie Davis coming up now. Nova's a pair. Leisher driving Ed Buckles is Nova. 722 is his dial in for Donnie Davis. 638 over there. Pit side. So Leisher, a little bit off the throttle there. Not sure what's going on. Leisher, 722. It's a perfect pass. Perfect pass. He had a perfect 000 with a 0 light and run 722.00, dead on 00. Unbeatable for Joel Leisher. 641 for Donnie Davis. I've only seen it twice in 20 years. A perfect pass. Joel Leisher right there. Eric Rayburn, Chad Isley coming up now. 685 for Eric Rayburn. Chad Isley 601. So Rayburn leaves on the first yellow. I think he forgot to turn on the delay box. So 603 for Chad Isley at 113. So Tom Jamison backing up from the burnout right there. 571 the dial in for the IROC Z out of Urbana, Illinois. Eddie Northcraft from Sullivan. He's trying to go 738. Winner circle pictures. Eddie Northcraft down track. Here comes Tom Jamison. Eddie Northcraft was dead late, but got lucky. As Jamison broke out, he went 3 under 568 on his 571. He had the light by about 0.2 of a second. Eddie Northcraft, though, gets the gift win. 740 on his 738. He'll be back for round 4. Here's Walt Edwards, dialed in at a 572. The Black Magic Dragster will be chasing down Terry Willard. Willard in the Camaro, 725 the dial in. Willard with a 725 with a 7, dead on with a 7 at 90 miles an hour. Walt Edwards, 1 off 573 on the 572 at 117. For Bobby Paul, it's a 746 at 91 miles an hour. So this is your number 1 and number 4 qualifiers. The blue Ford Mustang, the red Ford Mustang. Boy, I botched that up, didn't I? The red Ford Mustang, Tower Side, that is Mikey Robinson. The blue Chevelle, pit side, that's Rob Nevius. Both of them looking at a pro tree coming up, 5/10 pro tree, and then trying to go 750 on the big end. So Nevius rolls the start. Mikey Robinson gets the win here in 750. Robinson with a 742 at 92. Doesn't matter. He's your winner. Rob Nevius, red light start, and an 802. So congratulations, Mikey Robinson. Winner tonight in the 750 index category. Here's Ron Veach Sr. and Terry Adams coming up here, round 3 of Sportsman. Ron Sr. in his Pontiac Solstice. He thinks he's going to go 862. For Terry Adams, the runner out of Westfield, Illinois in the Pontiac Firebird, 871, the dial in over there pit side for the black car. Adams is down track. Here comes Veach. Veach on the brakes. He gets the win as Adams takes the stripe and breaks out by 1. He went 870 on his 871. He broke out by 1. Veach was safe by 1, 863 on the 862. Coming up now, it's Alex Smith and Jerry Decker. Camaros side by side. Different eras, of course. Alex Smith with the newest body style. Jerry Decker from the mid-80s. Alex Smith with an 863 dial-in tower side. Jerry Decker with a 924 over there in the pit lane. As they make their way down track, Alex Smith knew he had some room. 873 on the 863 at 73. He's your winner. Jerry Decker breaking out 911 at 70. Here's Jerry Decker Jr. 77 Chevy Nova alongside Kelly Edwards. Jerry Decker Jr. with an 888. Kelly Edwards with an 862. All over at the start, Jerry Decker Jr. with the red light. Kelly Edwards moves on to round 4. For Kelly Edwards, 851 on the 862, breaks out by a ton. Jerry Decker a 10th off, 898 on the 888 and the red light. Here's Cassie Edwards Wilson alongside Robert Soper. Bobby over there pit side with a 1463. He'll get the half-hour head start. Cassie Edwards Wilson with an 837 dial in. She'll have to sit there a long time and watch the Buick Century head down track. So Bobby Soper way down track. Here comes Cassie. The double breakout. He took the stripe and broke out by 7. 1456 on the 1463. She breaks out by 2. 835 for your winner. Katie Beeson and Tom Wagner coming up now. We need pro cars to 5 and 6. Pro cars to lanes 5 and 6. Kim Niemeyer, you will have the bye. Super Pro to 1 and 2. Super Pro to 1 and 2. Joel Leischer, imagine that, will have the bye for that. Another double breakout. This time it's Tom Wagner for the win. 1060 on the 1066. Katie B goes 12 under, 876 on the 888 at 74. This is Kyle Wright. Says it's a barn find. The Z28, tower side with an 877 dial in. He'll be taking on Ron Beach with the 827 dial in. If you do the math, that's a half a second. That's one bulb on the Christmas tree. Kyle Wright gets the head start. Nava Street, lane 9. Pro, 5 and 6. Sportsman, 7 and 8. Super Pro, 1 and 2.
Happy. You should be looking for 12 pro cars. 12.
Big end of the track. It's going to be Ron Beach for the win. 827 with a 6 on the 827. For Kyle Wright, 877 with an 8 on the 877. Both cars around the number. Better light for Mr. Beach. He'll move on to round 4. Larry Lyons and Rob Fisher, 8 flat. The dial in for Lyons. Fisher with an 824. The $1 Million Malibu gets to go first. As they head down track, Fisher just a touch better. He'll get the win. Lyons took the stripe, broke out by 5. 795 on the 8 flat. For Fisher, dead on with a 1. 824 with a 1 at 81. Tony Lyons hopes to do a little better than his dad here, taking on Mitch Biley. Biley in the Hyundai Sonata from Mattoon, 1007 over there, pit side on the black car. For Tony Lyons, 784 the dial in. Here comes Tony Lyons trying to gather him up. Tony Lyons for the win. Biley breaks out. 10:04 on the 10:07. That's 3 too quick. Tony Lyons safe with a 790 on his 784. He is your winner. Clayton Patrick and Scott Pickens will pull up now. Patrick from Mattoon, 772 the dial in. For Scott Pickens, 818 the dial. Once again, all winners in all classes back to the lanes. All winners in all classes back to the lanes. Super Pro to 1 and 2. Pro to 5 and 6. Sportsman to 7 and 8. Nava Street, lane 9. This time around, it's the Camaro with the better light. He'll be your winner. Pickens breaks out trying to hold him off. 815 on the 818. Clayton Patrick, 773 for the win at 87. Time run coming up for Tony Dawson.
Sportsman, we will have 5. No, Happy, you're not going to have 5 coming back. You have 10, 9 coming back. Disregard that previous message. That was just a mistake.
Tony Dawson hustling down track to a 660. 660 at 106.
Correct. Final of the novices.
So, 650 index final. Coming at you right now. Steve Hoke, Doug Keene. We'll match up here. Steve Hoke out of Tolono, Illinois. Doug Keene, Potomac, the home base for the Buick Regal. Hoke driving the Corvette tower side. Pro Tree coming at him. 410s Pro Tree, heads up. Then a 650 dial in. Great lights for both drivers. At the big end, it is Doug Keene for the win as Hoke breaks out by 3. He's been under the index all day. 647 on his 650. Doug Keene, your winner. 652 at 107. So congratulations to Doug Keene. Here's your first pair in Pro Round 4. The motorcycle, tower side, that is Brandon Childress. He'll line up in the JT Muffler lane with a 738 dial in. He'll be chasing down Travis East. Cedar City Motor side of the track in the Mustang. 8:17 the dial in over there. East off and running. Childress goes red. East gets the automatic win. He'll be back for the next round. Travis East 8:13 on the 8:17. Good enough for the win. He went 002 on the tree to boot. Brandon Childress red light starts 7:61 at 97. Harold Wright, Tom Harlan coming up now. Harold Wright, Ashmore, Illinois. 87 Chevy S10. 8:01 the dial in. For Tom Harlan, 673 the number there for the Hitman in the Bumper Dragon 77 Camaro. Little too quick out of the beams for Harlan. 9th thou red. Sounded like it's high gear only. 8:01 on his 8:01, dead on with a 4 for Harold Wright. For Tom Harlan, 675 on the 673 at 99. Cassie Edwards Wilson coming up now alongside Corey Butler. Cassie with an 835 dial in. She gets to go first. Corey Butler, pit side over there from Bement, Illinois with a 760 dial. Another red light. This time around, it's Corey Butler. Cassie Edwards Wilson, the automatic win. For Cassie, 835-00, dead on 00 for Cassie Edwards Wilson. Corey Butler coasting through to a 14:27. Pair of heavy hitters in the category lineup now. This is Max Lang. Max and Patty's Willie's Coupe, the Hall of Famer at the controls from Charleston, Illinois. 644 the dial in. Taking on the Rain Man, Rob Fisher. Former track champion, multi-time winner from Humboldt, driving the $1 Million Malibu. Sponsored by Fisher Auto Parts and Recycling. And Fisher's night is done here in Pro as he goes red. Max Lang gets the automatic win. Max Lang with a 642 on the 644. So Lang's 642 good enough for the win. Red light for Fisher and an 822. Tony Lyons and Bob Dillon coming up now. Lyons, Division III champion in the sportsman category. The runner out of Ashcombe, Illinois with a 786 dial. Bob Dillon, 751 the dial in. Lyons down track, but Dillon's going to get the win. 753 on the 751. He went 015 on the tree. That helped him out a bunch. Tony Lyons, 2 off, 788 on the 786. Here is Terry Willard and Kim Niemeyer. Willard out of Mattoon, Illinois. That's the Camaro, Tower side. The DTS Mechanical, Hopper Racing, Pinkston Performance sponsored ride with a 725 dial in, taking on Kim Niemeyer, the Mustang, with a 657 dial in. Niemeyer has the light. Can he make it stick? He does. Niemeyer for the win. Willard breaks out, trying to hold him off. Niemeyer took the stripe, and he was safe by 1. 658 on his 657. Willard breaks out by 1. 724 on the 725. Here is your Novice Street final. James Treat, Tower side. JT Muffler Lane. It's a 2001 Mustang. He thinks he's going to go 960. Taking on Tony Corsages from Arcola. Up in the big pickup truck, Corsages with an 1146 dial in. Corsages will get the head start. Corsages down track. James Treat yanking the gears. Corsages on the brakes, gives up the stripe and the win to James Treat. 978 on the 960 at 72. Corsages had the better light, but way off pace. 1171 at 54. So congratulations, James Treat, your winner in Novice Street. So, Super Pro quarterfinals starts out with a pair of Shelbyville runners, Dale Short, Troy Salazar. 551 and 555 are the dial-ins for Short and Salazar. Too close to see off the tree. Salazar with the starting line advantage. Short breaks out. 550 on his 551. He is done. Troy Salazar for the win. 556 on the 555 at 123. Bob Paul and Chad Isley. Family matchup here. Father-in-law and son-in-law. Bobby Paul, Chad Isley, both of them former track champions. Very credentialed racers matching up. 744 the dial in for Bobby Paul. Chad Isley with a 603. Identical. I mean identical reaction times. Chad Isley, 603 with a 3. They had identical reaction times. Chad Isley goes dead on with a 3. Bobby Paul goes dead on with a 4. Margin of victory, 9 ten-thousandths of a second. That is .0009 at the finish line. Wow. Eddie Northcraft, Tom Harlan, coming up now. Northcraft from Sullivan, Illinois. 738 to dial in there on the Pontiac. For Tom Harlan, he's trying to go 674. Harlan muscles his way down track. Can he catch Northcraft? Yes, he does. The Hitman for the win. 678 on the 674 at 98. Eddie Northcraft, 2 off 740 on the 738. Better light for the Hitman. Dawn's loving that action over there. Okay, the guy in the tower lane, last round, went dead on his dial-in with a 00. And he had a perfect light, a perfect package, unbeatable. If he does either one of those this time around, I'll give him $50. Joel Leischer from Decatur, Illinois, 721 the dial-in, alongside Terry Willard. Well, he didn't have a perfect light. Doesn't matter. Willard went red. And he's 4 off. So my money is safe. 725 on the 721 for Joel Leischer at 93. Willard, red light start, ran the number, 725 with an 8. Sportsman round 4. 9 cars left here. Alex Smith and Tom Wagner will match up. Smith in the Camaro. His dial-in is an 864. He's in the JT Muffler lane. For Tom Wagner, Cedar City Motor side of the track, 1060 the dial-in there on the Lincoln. Wagner goes red. Alex Smith moves on to the quarterfinals. Alex Smith will drive it out the back door. Just a time run for him, 8:65 on his 8:64. Tom Wagner, red light start and a 2 under, 10:58 at 66. Outlaw Muscle Car Final to lanes 3 and 4. Outlaw Muscle Car Final to lanes 3 and 4. Ron Veach Sr. and Kelly Edwards. Charleston Racers side by side. Ron Sr., Pontiac Solstice. Kelly, she's driving the Camaro. He's trying to go 8:62. She's trying to go 8:55 pit side. So Ron Sr. way down track. He's on the brakes. He broke out by 5, 8:57 on the 8:62. He had a ton in the bank off the starting line. She goes 8:63 for the win. So Kelly Edwards moves on. Ron Veach and Rob Fisher. The battle of the wagons coming up now. Veach in the white Nova wagon. Fisher in the brown Malibu. 8:24 and 8:25 are the dial-ins side by side. You won't even see that differential on the tree. As they head down track, the white wagon with the advantage. He'll be your winner. Fisher breaks out. He goes 2 under, 8:22. Veach for the win, 8:26 on the 8:25. He had the better light. 81 for the speed. Tony Lyons and Cassie Edwards Wilson coming up now. Tony Lyons, 786 the dial in for Cassie Edward Wilson. She's trying to go 8:36. These two waged a points battle that went down to the final round of the final race a couple of years ago. And Tony Lyons took the win. Another Ford Chevy matchup. And at the stripe, it is the Ford for the win, Tony Lyons. 787 on the 786. Tony Lyons is your winner. 8:36 and done for Cassie Edwards Wilson. Here's Clayton Patrick. He'll get the bye run into the next round. The young man out of Mattoon got a 773 there on the window of his 97 Camaro. Again, all winners in all classes back to the lanes. At the big end, Clayton Patrick with a 773 with a 3. Dead on with a 3 at 87. So your pro quarters start out like this. It's Harold Wright, the Harold Wright Trucking JRC Performance entry. That's an 87 Chevy S10. He's in the JT Muffler lane. He's trying to go 801. He'll be taking on Bob Dillon in the 46 Ford Coupe out of Dalton City, Illinois. 7:51 the dial in for the Coupe in the Cedar City Motors lane. Well, nothing to write home about there on the starting line. But Bob Dillon takes the win as Wright breaks out. He takes the stripe and breaks out by 4. 797 on his 801. Dillon safe by 2. 753 on the 751. At 89, Bob Dillon comes back for the semis. Who will join him? Will it be Max Lang or Travis East? The Hall of Famer Tower side, the Beast Pit side. Couldn't tell you off the starting line. It'll be decided at the stripe. Double breakout win for Travis East. He goes 8:12.99 on his 813. Max Lang 6:41 with a 5 on the 6:42. So Travis East goes on to the semis. Winner of this round will round out that semifinal group. It'll either be Cassie Edwards Wilson or Kim Niemeyer. Cassie with an 835 dial in on her Camaro. Kim Niemeyer with a 6:56 on the Mustang. She gets not quite 2 seconds head start tower side. Doesn't matter how much head start, her competition goes red. Cassie goes on to the semis. Cassie Edwards-Wilson, 8:32 on her 8:35. She's your winner. Kim Niemeyer, red light start and a 6:58 at 1:04. So first up, one of these two racers will make their way to the final round. The Super Pro semifinal number 1 will match up Chad Isley from Charleston, Illinois. 73 Kawasaki. 6:03 the dial in. Gets the head start. Coming to get him, it'll be Troy Salazar. The Bad Dog Racing dragster out of Shelbyville with a 5:55 dial. Isley looking around. He goes on to the final. Isley on the double breakout goes 6:02 on the 6:03. He's 1 under. Troy Salazar 2 under, 5:53 on the 5:55 at 1:24. So imagine that. Chad Isley, final round. He gets to take on one of these two. Joel Leischer, Decatur, Illinois. The Chevy Nova, tower side with a 7:23 dial in. Lines up next to the Hitman, Tommy Harlan from Mattoon, 6:76 the dial. Harlan charging hard. He gets to go to the money round as Joel Leischer breaks out. He goes 2 under, 7:21 on the 7:23. Took the stripe, broke out by 2. Tommy Harlan. Going to make Alicia's birthday pretty special if he takes home the win. 6:77 at 99 for Tom Harlan. So it'll be Tom Harlan and Chad Isley in the final coming up in Super Pro. So your quarters here in Sportsman start out with Alex Smith in his 2010 Camaro. Tower side from Humboldt, Illinois. 8:64 the dial in. Taking on Kelly Edwards. Kelly from Charleston in her Camaro. 8:59 the dial in over there pit side. So just a touch of a head start for Alex Smith, Tower Lane. So Kelly timed out. She didn't make it in within 10 seconds. Alex Smith with the automatic win.
I looked up and there was like 1 second and she still wasn't in. I'm like, oh.
So tough break for Kelly Edwards. 9:30 on the 8:64 for Alex Smith. And the auto start got her. He got 10 seconds to stage the car, and she didn't make it. Clayton Patrick and Ron Veach coming up now. Clayton Patrick, Tower Lane, JT Muffler Lane out of Mattoon with a 7:73 dial in. That's a 97 Camaro. Ron Veach, Cedar City Motors Lane from Charleston, Illinois, 63 Nova with an 8:25 there on the dial in. So Ron Veach had the better light, takes the stripe, breaks out by 3. Clayton Patrick, your winner, he breaks out by 2. 771 on the 773 at 87. Veach 3 under 822 at 82.
Disregard. Sportsman quarters. Kelly Edwards and Ron Beach.
Tony Lyons gets the bye into the next round. Little Ford Probe hustles down track there in the Cedar City Motors lane. 781 on the 780 at 88. All right, so remember this category? They ran about 2 hours ago, something like that, Outlaw Muscle Car. And they were still in competition in the 650 category. So they said, just wait till we're done with that, then we'll come back up here. So it's Doug Keene and Steve Hoke. It's deja vu all over again because they ran each other in the 650 index final. A little different this time because there's no breakout that applies this time around. And you see Steve Hoke fogging the nitrous right there. Pro Tree coming up. So Steve Hoke, your number one qualifier by a bunch, as he's about a half a second quicker than Doug Keene. But we'll see what happens here in the final. Pro Tree heads up. First one to the finish line wins here in Outlaw Muscle Street. So Hoke gets a little sideways, and Doug Keene runs the number 593 for your winner, Doug Keene at 117. Steve Hoke 598 at 122. So Hoke gets a little squirrely about 200 feet out, and Doug Keene takes advantage for the win. He had the better light as well. So Doug Keene, your winner here tonight in the Buick Regal in Outlaw Muscle Street. So your pro semifinal, Travis East, the Beast, out of Casey, Illinois, 810 to dial in. He's in the JT Muffler lane. It's a 1988 Mustang. He'll be taking on the 46 Ford of Bob Dillon. Dillon in the Cedar City Motors lane, 752 the dial in, pit side. As they head down track, Travis East has the advantage big time, and he'll go to the money round. Dillon takes the stripe and breaks out by 1. 751 on the 752. Travis East, 816 on his 810, good enough for the win. So it'll be Travis East and Cassie Edwards Wilson matching up in the final round of Pro. Cassie's got an 835 on her window. I don't know if she'll run it out the back door or just back up and wait. Whichever she does, perfectly fine. So Cassie, red light start. Doesn't matter. She knows her destiny is in the final. 833 on the 835 at 84. Oh, is that right? So Tom Harlan and Chad Isley matching up here in the Super Pro final. Harlan with a 676 dial, Isley 603. So some troubles there for Tom Harlan. Not sure what happened. He clicks it off early and coasts through to an 1123. Chad Isley takes the win, 662 at 73. So tough break for Tommy Harlan. It sounded like it ran out of fuel, but I don't think that's the case. Chad Isley, he'll pick up the win on the bike. Sportsman Semifinal. Clayton Patrick, JT Muffler Lane from Mattoon, Illinois. 97 Camaro, 772 the dial-in. Taking on Tony Lyons, the Ford Probe with a 782 dial-in over in the Cedar City Motors lane. Good-looking lights for both drivers. Clayton Patrick takes the win as Tony Lyons takes the stripe and he breaks out by 1. 781 on the 782. Clayton Patrick 772 on his 772 at 86. So it'll be an all Camaro final. Clayton Patrick will be taking on Alec Smith here in the final of Sportsman. Smith's Camaro off and running there. At the finish line, Alex Smith with an 866. 866 at 82. A Ford Chevy matchup here in the Pro Final. Cassie Edwards Wilson, Charleston, Illinois, the Camaro. She's in the JT Muffler lane. She's trying to go 833. Her competition, that is Travis East, the Beast, out of Casey, in his Ford Mustang. Cedar City Motor side of the track with an 812. Silver car gets to go first over here in the Tower lane. As they head down track, wind light will flash for Cassie Edwards Wilson. 834 on her 833. Cassie is your winner. Travis East goes 4 off 816 on the 812 at 80 miles an hour. The better package on both ends for Cassie Edwards Wilson. Congratulations, winner in Pro here tonight. Your Sportsman final will match up Clayton Patrick from Mattoon, Illinois. JT Muffler Lane, 772, still on the window there. Taking on Alex Smith, the young man from Humboldt, Illinois, with an 865 dial-in on his new 2010 Camaro. Smith is in the Cedar City Motors lane. They're both staged and ready. Smith is off and running. Here comes Clayton Patrick. As they head down track, which Camaro is going to get there with the win? It is Alec Smith for the win, 869 on the 865. Alec Smith is your winner. Clayton Patrick, in a losing effort, runs dead on. 772 with a 6 on the 772. Alec Smith had room on the starting line and plays it to his advantage to take the win. So